Hello, everyone. My name is Alina Bogdan, and I'm marketing manager at NEMIS Technology. And I'm super, super excited to welcome you all for our fourth webinar. Stefania, do you believe that we already do it the fourth time?
Yes.
Say.
No, the other thing is that normally I'm the part that you are doing now.
Yeah. So today I will be the moderator of our webinar, which will be guided by Stefania Cesarano. And first of all, I would love to thank to everyone who has staying with us since the very first webinar. You are the best, guys, because you motivate us to do it, to invite the best speakers, and to think about the best and the hottest topic in this area. And plus, we are very grateful to all newcomers here. We hope to bring you the best value in food safety and food in the food industry topics. Yeah. And also another greatest, biggest thanks to NEMIS Technologies who allow us to do NEMIS Academy and share the best knowledge for you guys. Before we start, I would love everyone to write in the chat if video is good, if audio is good, if the internet connection is smooth. Just put plus that everything is fine. Like a brief technical checkup. Okay. Looks like all great. Perfect, guys. So I'm super excited to introduce our speaker today. You probably know this beautiful lady. It's our Stefania Cesarano, Key Account Manager at NEMIS Technologies. And this lady has already over 30 years of experience in ensuring food safety and quality. And believe me, guys, today she will share the best of her knowledge about foundation principles of HACCP. So don't be bored and prepare the sharpest questions to her. And after the webinar, just drop these questions into the chat on the right, and we will gratefully answer on these questions. So, Stefania, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you very much, Alina, for this introduction. I will begin to share my screen. Just a second. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Perfect.
It's okay?
No, for now, you closed it. Just come back to PowerPoint. Yeah, and if you make it on the full screen, yeah, in presentation mode, perfect.
Good. Great. I'm really happy and pleased to be here. But first thing, who am I? Alina already told you over 30 years. Actually, in 1986, I began my career as biomedical technician at the Veterinary Institute of the University of Zurich. Then I got about one year, I was at an emergency laboratory at the University Hospital. After that, I came in the 90s. I got a lab manager in microbiology at the water supply. So drinking water, by the way, is also a food. Don't forget it. After that, I thought I need some calories. I went to Lindt & Sprüngli, a chocolate factory, not really far from here. Then I changed to the meat industry. Migros Industrie Mecarna is the biggest meat producer in Switzerland, and Lüchinger & Schmid eggs and liquids. After that, I did a year of project Lean Six Sigma Green Belt in centralizing the micro industry internal labs to the central lab SQTS. Then another very good part of me, I was at OneLIMS. This is a software. I was there head of lab performance, optimization and digitalization of labs. And now I'm at NEMIS Technologies as key account manager supporting, consulting in food safety. But now let's talk about my presentation, Unveiling Food Safety Excellence Beyond HACCP. I will tell you, after this presentation, we are changing the title, that's for sure. But first, the context. I know it's not going that dry matter at HACCP seems, but we have to go through basic terms and key principles of the HACCP, hazard or risk management. I'm asking always why the letter R is not in the HACCP work. Environmental monitoring, data management and visualization, continuous improvement, PDCA cycle, and collaboration and communication. So let's begin. What that means, HACCP, hazard analysis and critical control points. Increased challenges in management of food safety in the last decades. I mean, you heard about it. 1986, I began working. There was a lot of challenges and a lot of changes. Increased general awareness about food safety, research on pathogens, chemical contaminants and technologies, increased scientific and technical know-how, and development of high-performing analytical methods. What else happened? Strengthening of national and international legislation and its enforcement, but also improvement in the procedure for risk assessment and risk management. Don't forget the strengthening the foodborne disease and food contamination surveillance system, alerts, traceability, and incident management. And I'm sure you can see all that somehow in this word cloud. It's small, but it's a lot to do. And by the way, you know how old HACCP is? I'm sure you're not. The HACCP system originating from NASA efforts in 1959, so we are more than 60 years. So they saw significant advancement over the years. It was officially published in the USA in 1971. And by 1985, this is more or less when I began working, its application was endorsed by the US National Academy of Science. This led to global trials and ongoing development, marking a crucial step in quality assurance improvement. And this all 60 years, don't forget it. So now let's begin with the 7 key principles of HACCP, and you will see I love bubbles. Begin with the first one. Hazard analysis. That means identify potential hazards in food production. You have to know what hazards do you have. Determine points where control measures are essential. Determining the CCP, the critical control points. Set criteria to ensure safety at the CCPs. That means establish the limits. And now the next one is in the middle, actually, of all the bubbles. Regularly observe and measure to maintain control. Don't forget, in the hazard word, there is control, nothing else. Very important. And then implement procedures when deviation occurs. You have to know what to do. Corrective actions, very important if there is a deviation. Ensure your HACCP plan, your HACCP concept has to be verified. All procedures confirm that the system is working effectively. And all that, are we sure? There will be a lot of data, record keeping, maintain comprehensive documentation for review and analysis. Okay, I love, by the way, the color red. Why? It always means attention. Holistic HACCP utilizes a risk-based approach to manage food safety hazards comprehensively, identifying hazards, recognizing potential dangers at every stage of the food production process. So hazards can be, I love bacteria, by the way, concerning harmful bacteria that can compromise food safety. That means, I told you, I love bacteria, I seek them, but I destroy them also. Next hazard, chemical hazards may include cleaning chemicals, agriculture chemicals such as pesticides and poison toxins from other sources, but there are much more hazards. Potential presence of foreign objects in food. We are talking here about hairs, we are talking about buttons, we are talking about nails, and so on. There are a lot of physical hazards around. And last but not least, allergenic hazards. Addressing allergens to ensure safety for consumers. And you know, nowadays there are a lot more people who have some kind of allergic reaction after eating something. All that removing or reducing hazards to safe levels for consumer protection, that means risk management. And again, this is this letter R, risk. You don't find it in the HACCP word. Okay, let's talk about this letter R, risk. There are strategies for an effective risk management. Let's look at it a bit deeper. Thoroughly assess potential threats. You have to identify the risk. You have to know what's going on in your company, in your production area. Evaluate the consequences of each risk, considering both likelihood and severity. We are looking afterwards how you analyze the impact. Then create strategies to minimize or eliminate identified risk. So you have to develop a mitigation plans to look at this. And then again, nothing else, monitoring continuously, regularly review and update risk assessments as conditions may change, can change, will change. What else? Communication. In times like now with food safety culture, communication is really very important. Ensure clear communication of risk and mitigation plans to stakeholders? No. Also to the workers. Food safe culture, sorry. What else? You know what resilience means? Establish plans to respond to unforeseen events. In every company, there should be a HACCP team. The team itself is responsible for everything that has to do. There are quality technicians, operation, but also from the management and so on. Just try to do a workshop once and thinking out of the box, what unforeseen events could be. You would be amazed what's going on there. There are some kind of, flashes going around. It's really a good thing to do. And what else? Use the experience to refine risk management process for the future. You have to work with the data you do have. A question to everybody. Why a lion is a hazard, but not necessarily a risk? Do you know it? You sure? Are you sure to know the difference between a hazard and a risk? It's not the same. I show you two pictures. I'm sure you know that. Okay, lions can pose a danger to human health due to potential attacks resulting in serious injuries. Look at the picture on the right side. However, in zoo enclosures, the risk of harm from lions is minimal. Whether lions harm humans depends on human-lion interactions. Encountering a lion in the wild increases the risk of health damage. And now put these to your products. What is a hazard and what is a risk? Okay, again, risk. This letter R still not in the hazard word. Okay, there are a few steps for the risk assessment process. First, we do have identification of the hazard. Recognizing situations or substances with potential health impacts. Very important. Are there any hazards I can identify? The second step is the characterization of this hazard. Evaluating negative health impacts caused by recognized dangers. Danger is a hazard, not yet a risk. Then, exposure assessment involves figuring out how likely it is for people to come into contact with dangerous situations or substances. That also, you have to know, and such things. Talk to the HACCP team. Make it a big brainstorming. It's really great. And the last step will be analyzing the type of potential damage and the likelihood of occurrence. How can you do that? I still love colors. It's again red. Okay. Risk assessment matrix. I love actually this matrix because it's really colorful and it says really a lot. You can read out it a very good thing, because a risk assessment matrix in HACCP is a tool used to evaluate and prioritize risks associated with food safety hazards. It typically categorizes risk based on severity and likelihood, helping to determine which hazards require immediate attention, or the red ones, and which can be managed through preventive measurements, the green ones and the yellow ones. So that's important. Risk assessment matrix, likelihood, can it happen? And the severity, the severe, so that if we do have almost a likelihood that can happen something, it can be fatal. Don't forget it. Environmental Monitoring Program, EMP. Is this a small objective of HACCP? I don't know. Let's look at the house of HACCP. It looks like this. HACCP plan, HACCP concept is the roof of a house, but the walls itself are the self-controls we are doing, the monitoring. They are room and plant hygiene, staff hygiene, product and production hygiene. And if you're thinking of the hazards there are, the biological one or the chemical, whatever you're thinking of, you have to know the possible health hazards. So, environmental monitoring program is a part of it. Don't forget it. What's more, what can you read out of environmental monitoring? Actually, detection of contaminants doesn't matter, as I said. biological, physical, chemical, allergens, whatever. EMPs are essential for detecting contaminants in food production environments, such as pathogens. We are talking about Listeria monocytogenes, for example, Salmonella, Aztec, but also spoilage organism. We are talking there about mold, for example. They help focus sanitation efforts and maintain product safety. Rapid detection methods like Enlight from NEMIS Technologies, for example, but also a lot of rapid allergen tests enhance monitoring efficiency. Environmental monitoring is a key component of HACCP, ensuring hazards are identified and controlled proactively. The next environmental monitoring programs verify the effectiveness of sanitation processes and also of trainings, ensuring these critical safety measures function as intended. Well, root cause analysis, you also know that through environmental monitoring program, root causes of contamination can be pinpointed, leading to enhanced process controls and potential cost savings. So be preventive. And then again, we do have this collection of hygiene data. EMPs gather essential data on the overall cleanliness of the production facility, providing insights for further improvement. That means all this data you are gathering, use them, analyze them, and look what you can do better. There is one more, and I think always when I'm in a production, I have this kind, I'm doing my environmental monitoring, and I always have this 360-degree holistic view. I don't go just to a critical point. I go into the production area and I look around. Mostly I look up, and since I'm small, I also look on the machines. That means EMPs can reveal equipment issues needing maintenance, allowing for early interventions to prevent more significant problems. And don't forget costs. The longer a machine doesn't work right, the more expensive it gets. So now we did talk really a lot about data management. So we have, for example, this is an allergen rapid test, but also if you are looking for temperature measuring, pasteurization machine, or pathogens detecting, all that creates a lot of data, really. And I know that I had, as lab manager, to deal with a lot of data. Normally, it looks like this. Paperwork, Excel sheets, and so on. So let's embrace digital solutions, moving from paper to digital systems. Traditional paper-based methods make it challenging to spot safety issues, while digital solutions offer a streamlined approach. It can look like this. By leveraging digital technologies, businesses can gather data more efficiently, identifying hygiene problems faster, and ensure safer food production. So let's explore the power of data management and visualization through a dashboard. Why not keep track on key metrics, trends, and insights at a glance? I know when I was at LinkedIn Sprüngli, every department had a big screen with a dashboard. So everybody, the workers, can look at it. And I think this is very important because all this data you are creating, you have to show them, visualize them. What you're doing with all this data, if something is going on, still you have to continuously improve yourself. And there is a good, very good tool, PDCA circle. It looks like this. Repeat the plan, do check, and act cycle to achieve a better practice. Beginning small and ongoing improvements, having a good food safety. That means it's an ongoing process. Regular reviews and updates are vital for addressing evolving risk. Again, holistic approach emphasizes adaptation to changing conditions and emerging risk. We are really on a way that a lot of information is coming in, changing conditions. And that holistic view, you have to look at it really. And for that, PDCA cycle. The plan, do, check, act cycle provides a framework for continuous improvement. And then again, implementing the strategies. Incorporate the feedback you get, data analysis, and lessons learned into the HACCP system. Something very important that we can do. The next is limitation of HACCP. I love this slide, by the way. I think I wanted to do something special. You know what I did? I asked ChatGPT. I asked an AI to answer me, is there limitations of HACCP? I'm sure you want to know the answer. Okay, let's see. The first was reactive approach. Okay, the answer was addresses hazards after identification, lacking proactive prevention. Huh? Question mark. Is this an answer? Let's see at the next limitation. ChatGPT says us, lack of flexibility, struggles to adapt to changing processes or emerging hazards. Are we not flexible enough? Next question mark. What's next? ChatGPT said, single hazard focus. Okay, this was really good. Primarily tackles food safety, neglecting other risks like allergen or fraud. But sorry, don't we look holistic way on the HACCP? We look at all hazards. Again, question mark. Limited scope, may not cover entire food supply chain, leaving gaps in safety measures. If we don't do that, sorry, we do have a plan, right? Question mark. Holistic approach needed, requires adopting proactive measures like risk-based controls and new technologies for real-time monitoring. That's actually what we want to do with HACCP. We want to have this holistic approach. So again, ChatGPT. These are 5 answers. Actually, ChatGPT told me 6. This was at the very end of all. I think this must be at the very beginning of all. Resource intensive. Requires significant time, expertise, and documentation. And if everybody who works in food safety, quality, technicians, and so on, operations, we do have really high stressed working there. The resource are intensive. The resource of workers, of professionals, financial ones. So here, I definitely didn't put the question mark. I put the exclamation mark because all the others, no problem. There's not a limitation in HACCP because we are doing that already. It's in the plan. I think the resource is what's really limitate us to do it correctly sometimes. And now I told you at the beginning that the title of my presentation I wasn't really so happy after all. I think this one is better. Enhancing food safety through holistic practices. Why? Effective communication. Be transparent. Transparent information sharing and collaboration are key across the supply chain, and not only the supply chain, whole production. The integration with the quality management HACCP principles merge with ISO 9001, ensure comprehensive food safety and quality. Stakeholder engagement, involving all parties, foster collaboration and shared responsibility for safety. You are not alone. HACCP team is very important. Collaboration and communication. Food safety culture. This is also something very important. Cultivating a strong culture. Prioritize safety in values, policies, and practices. Don't forget to put all this theory into practice. Trainings. Tell the workers why they do have to clean that. Why do they have to do that again and again? Communication is really very important. And then, at the end, I should give you a key takeaway. What shall I say? This picture, I think, says a lot. HACCP team. It's a team, don't forget it. Collaboration and communication. This is really the one thing I want that you take home with you. Communicate with each other. Thank you very much. It was really great to have this presentation with you. And I think, Alina, just a second, maybe there are some questions.
Thank you very much, Stefania. It was very interesting. And me, as far as I'm not from this industry, for me, every type of information was really very, very important to know. Okay, guys, thank you very much. And now we are waiting for your questions. I think while someone is typing in a chat, I can drop into my question first, right? Stefania, don't you mind?
Oh, go on.
Okay, so the first question, probably a lot of people who are not from the industry as well as me, I would ask you, Stefania, is it possible, for example, just to copy paste a HACCP plan from one company to another? I see your reaction, yeah? The answer is no.
Okay, I just could say no, Alina.
But why? Why?
No, it's really, you cannot simply copy paste a HACCP plan, because it's really, it's tailored. It's special for every production, not only the production, also the process for a special production side, let's say pasteurization. It's not the same if you're dealing with eggs or you're dealing with beverages, whatever. Never do that, please. It's really, if you go step by step together, you can do a really good HACCP plan, and there are really good studies. You can first read it, not copy it, and then do it yourself. I think it's essential to develop really your own HACCP plan. That is, afterwards, you know your process. And this is very important. It's not just that I copy paste and then, okay, everything done. This is my workflow. Everything's okay. No, you know, because you also have to talk to the people, for example, who are cleaning every day a machine. It's not always the same, but they know mostly, they know more than you. And put all that together, tailored for your company, for your production, for your process. It's the best thing to do. You learn a lot.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's clear now for me. And like as far as I don't see questions for now, I think I can also ask another question. What would you suggest as a very important steps for implementing HACCP plan?
Implementing a HACCP plan, I think, and that's maybe something I already said in the answer before, you have to know your production. You have to know everything there. You have to know your hazards. What is a hazard? And then with this risk assessment matrix, you can put your CCP rights. And I think integrating all from the incoming of the goods, the raw materials, you also have to know what happens at the stakeholders. They are delivering you the goods till the end of the production when it's packed. And if you know all these hazards, and then you look what is critical and what is still okay, that is a good implementing for a HACCP plan.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think I can also ask another question. So, what are the key challenges in management in food safety during the last decades?
I think I had a slide about that. What also came into my mind is this globalization. I think it's not only that you are having your salad just from the field behind next to you. Sometimes the supply chain it's coming from far away, and I think to this challenge of looking at every possible hazard, it's really a big change, I think, in the last decades. And always when I say last decades, I'm feeling very old, but it's really like that. I mean, it's mostly 40 years I'm working now, and it's getting bigger just because of the globalization.
Yeah, okay. Completely agree with you. And also, Stefania, I remember you mentioned dashboards as one of the most important quality management tool. And actually, why I'm mentioning this, because our next webinar, which will be with CEO and co-founder of Unveiling's lab and quality solution, Philip Osterwald, will be exactly about successful digitalization of quality management in food industry. So guys, don't miss it out. You can register to this webinar by just clicking on the button on the top of our screen and save the 6th of March in your calendar for the next webinar. And Stefania, like maybe based on your experience, I saw there were quite complicated dashboard screen. For example, the company who are just starting with this, what's the simplest solution for them to implement? I mean, from the matter of data management.
Actually, since I worked for Unveiling, and I'm looking forward for the presentation with Philip, my former chief, I think there are really possibilities also there to tailor it. If you are a small production or a big one, you can tailor your dashboard as you want. It's also like this, if you are a small budget, for example, maybe it's okay if you only see the dashboard a pie, how many positives do I have or negative ones. Mm-hmm. If you're getting bigger, there are more key, much more key metrics that are important for you. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's very important, if you want to do a digitalization, just talk to the ones who have this software and tailor it to the needs you really need. Nothing else.
So guys, the next webinar will be the perfect opportunity for you to talk directly to Philip and ask all these questions. Yeah, but the most important news, I guess, that you don't need to invest a lot to implement in this solution. Okay, thank you, Stefania. Thank you, everyone who attended today's webinar. I hope to see you 6th of March on our next webinar. And after this webinar, we will share the recording as well as a presentation. And don't forget to follow on our LinkedIn page, NEMIS Academy. Also check our website, nemistech.academy, for future webinars. Thank you again, Stefania. Have a nice day, everyone, and ciao.